vehicle that was, this is a vehicle that was stolen, be on the lookout for it. And they would tweet that out to the public. Do not make contact, of course, call 911. But after doing that, if my stats are right, within just a couple of years, their recovery rate went up like 20%. And so just for having the individuals within their community help them identify maybe some of these cars that were stolen. So pretty astounding stat. Some open source information that's out there. And there is so much. There are so many different sites. There are so many different sources of information where you can actually go through and try to gather publicly available information. And that's all I'm going to be talking about here is just some different sources that are publicly available. If somebody has an open profile or an open account, some of this information can be used. Bing Twitter Maps is one in particular that can be valuable. This is all available to the public, available to law enforcement, available to anybody that wants to get on the site and look at the information. And it will provide information that an individual has an account, they have an open Twitter account, an open profile, they've got their geolocation turned on, they're sitting there publicly tweeting information. It's publicly available. Anybody can see it. There may be some benefit in this, and we talked a little bit about that earlier, and Don talking about the possibility of having, from a public awareness or a public safety standpoint, it's important. I just put an example up here of a Justin Timberlake concert in Baltimore, but when you have that many people get together for one event, it does become a law enforcement issue as well. How are we going to handle this? We just had recently in the state of West Virginia Bridge Day, which is everybody goes to the New River Gorge. They had about 80,000 folks there, and they go and they bungee jump off this huge bridge. Crazy, but hey, that is what it is. But it's a huge law enforcement. Has to have a huge law enforcement presence, and some of the tools that you can go ahead and utilize for a week at a time or for a day at a time. That's gathering this openly public information may be valuable to law enforcement. It may be. There may be something there. I had an opportunity this past summer to attend the National Boy Scout, Jamboree, where you have over 40,000 kids, coming into one location. And so yeah, there's a lot of security issues that you have to look at there as well. And so utilizing some of the sources out there that are open source, that provide information to law enforcement that may be pertinent to what you're looking at is very important. Topsy is another one, and these are all free. These are just open source things that law enforcement may be able to utilize to help them with some of their investigations or with public events that are happening. I put in for this search WB couchburning just because we were talking about it earlier. But this will just look at certain tweets that are public tweets. They're public information that's put out there. There's no privacy on this information. And it may help you with an investigation. It may help you provide you that certain link that you need to be able to close this case out. Another one that I'll mention, and this is kind of the last thing we'll talk about, and I've talked to a lot of smaller law enforcement agencies. West Virginia, a pretty rural area, and everybody knows what happens in small towns. Everybody likes to talk, and rumor mill start, and this and that. And from a smaller jurisdiction standpoint, this particular website has been very valuable in finding information or helping or assisting in investigations where individuals will go through, and this is, again, public information, just a blogging forum, where members of the community will just get on there and rant and rave, possibly about an investigation that you have. Missing 3-year-old Bendale area girl, she's been missing for 2 years. And yeah, that's an open investigation that that is looked at and said, what? Maybe somebody will say something, or maybe somebody will put information out there that will help us with this case. Okay, and so information that's posted out there that is publicly available can be very beneficial to law enforcement on a number of different levels. I don't know if everybody saw my last photo up here, but that was actually a tweet that took place. right before we went in and got in line. But it still drives that point home. You know, it still kind of drives that point home of what you kind of have to think about. You know, not only are you on your monitoring, but you know, other individuals can be too. And so, you know, something to think about there. With that.